it open. Don't include that. Sonic. No, don't include that either. Sonic Weekly is the name of the show. Welcome back to Sonic Weekly. That's the show. It's the show. It's Sonic Weekly. Sonic Weekly. Okay. Hello. Welcome back. Grant is me, one of your hosts. Bo is he. Hi, Bo.
Speed me up. Don't turn down the bass. Tell the DJ, lead me up.
And out of the shadows, into the spotlight, the star of the show, David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Whoa, hi, Grant. Hi, Bo. Oh, yeah. I feel like breakdancing right now. I think I'm going to be spinning on
Do it.
the floor.
Do it.
I don't know how to breakdance, though. I'll probably just break my hip. Ha, ha, ha.
That's how you do it. You break and you dance.
Oh, okay. Like breaking a plate, breaking a mug. When's the last time you broke a plate?
Years. It's been years since I broke a plate.
Oh.
I have small children. I feel like there's broken plates on occasion. You just gotta sweep up the shards and try again next time.
Oh, man. I think the last time I broke a cup, I was putting it in the dishwasher, and it just sort of crumbled once I put it down.
Okay, so I have this coffee mug.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fairly large coffee mug. Like it'll hold a good amount of coffee, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
But it has on it printed "Life happens, coffee helps" in like the most annoying font. And this is the most annoying sentiment. You can imagine this like framed at your friend's stepmom's house.
Yeah.
And somehow coffee tastes the best out of this cup only. Like I have plenty of other mugs. None of them makes coffee taste the way that it tastes in this annoyingly printed mug. And I don't know why, but it's the best one.
Okay.
I am a 65-year-old woman.
You well, wow. Maybe like it's made with a certain material, maybe like asbestos, right? So
Yeah, it might be asbestos. Or it's magic. It's the power of magic.
Oh, it's magic.
Copyright strike right there.
What have I done?
Monetize this.
Oh,
Where's our 3 cents gonna come from?
oh well, right. We got to hop on the monetization train, and I think the best way to monetize ourselves is by reporting Sonic news.
Yeah, let's do it. Try it.
Yeah. Sonic news, Sonic Mailbag. We're on a Sonic snooze cruise because we've been talking about the movie and we're pretty tired of it. And we've been talking about Sonic X Shadow Generations. We're pretty tired of that too. But guess what's in the news? Sonic Movie 3 and Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hot off the press of sonicstadium.org. Maybe these stories are also mentioned on Sega Bits. We talk about Sega Bits a lot because we're there now, sort of. Barry sticks his nose in, whispers sweet nothings in the middle. But Sonic X Shadow Generations. Whoa, I guess, hey, you like that game? I guess other people like that game. It's sold over 2 million copies. That is pretty impressive for a re-release for a Sonic game. I forget offhand how many copies of Frontiers sold. I know Frontiers did pretty well.
It was a little ahead of
that. Yeah.
I think this was at around this time, we knew Frontiers was at least at 2.5 million.
Yeah. Okay.
This is only at 2 million. So that point, but also, Frontiers is a new game, and some people who perhaps already owned Sonic Generations and, maybe they were like, I don't need to get it for the new content. But for Sonic Frontiers, it's brand new, different kind of beast. So in any case, it's doing well, right? Like I would say, like 2 million. I don't know what I don't know how the investors are feeling, but I have to imagine they're pretty happy.
I think they would be happy. I am happy with the game. We talked about it quite a bit when it first came out, but I play a little bit of it with my older son every couple of weekends. I think the Shadow half holds up some months later, but man, the Sonic half, I think they ruined it with the drop dash. Like the 3D sections with the drop dash are really bad. You're trying to do a homing attack and you're spinning up a drop dash. You're flying off into the ocean. It's a bad scene.
I loved the drop dash in Mania, but I do feel like outside of 2D, it has not been implemented well yet. Like in Frontiers, it was very much an afterthought. And then once you unlock the spin dash, it really makes the drop dash look like nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I think it works okay in Frontiers because it's on a different button from homing attack. But for Generations Remaster,
Right.
they made homing attack either jump or jump attack.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to separate those. Just go full Frontiers controls.
I agree. Although, yeah, I mean, I guess they could have for Generations. I just say that's just not how it was in the original game, but that doesn't mean it couldn't have been changed. They added the drop dash, so clearly they can make changes.
Yeah.
I also thought on the Sonic half, it seemed a little more half-baked. So, for example, without changing any settings, by default, you don't have lives. But the Omochao little hints that pop up in the beginning of the acts, sometimes they'll mention lives. And you're like, well, hang on, I don't have lives here. Why are you telling me about lives?
I hope somebody got promoted for that blunder because I don't want anyone to be out of work. And everyone makes mistakes. And you know what? They probably learned from those mistakes. So I hope they're now leading people.
Right. Well, speaking of mistakes, hey, Sonic 3 news. Not that Sonic 3 is a mistake. It isn't. No, I mean it's fast approaching, if not already past 500 million worldwide. It is a success by all accounts. People love Sonic 3, but the mistake is that, there was some concept art released that I guess shouldn't have been. That's right. It was directly from a Chinese animation studio called Tian Heiyan, if I said that right. I'll
Nailed it.
I'll assume I did. Yeah, they posted some. Now, we had seen a couple pieces of concept art from Jeff Fowler previously, but these were all brand new pieces containing, sequences that were cut from the movie and what could potentially become spoilers for Sonic 4. So, hey, if you don't want to know anything about anything, I guess you should turn this off or skip ahead a few minutes. But whoa, who is that? Oh, it's Metal Sonic, but he's not being hit by Amy. He's in the future. There's Robotnik. He's in the future. It's some wild
Are you talking
thing.
about the Emperor Robotnik
Yes, Emperor
image?
Robotnik, the Emperor Robotnik. I think that's the big one, is the Emperor Robotnik image.
Yeah.
Him standing there, he's in some fancy regalia. His little medal's right next to him, and there's statues with his face all over the place. Very
And it looks like he has a spear or a staff that seems to be powered by a supersonic quill at the tip of it.
yeah.
It looks like it. It's hard to say. It might be just like a spark of electricity, or some sort of chaos power. You know what it reminds me of? What I suspect maybe was part of the intention was, did you ever see the Tim? I know you have. I'm going to ask this question. I don't know the answer, but I feel like I do know the answer.
Okay.
And I'm going to say you both have seen the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes movie.
I don't think I have. I don't think so.
I saw the
Okay.
trailer.
Bo was 50-50, but David, I thought for sure David would have seen it. I don't know why.
Right. It's one of those things that I feel like I should have seen, but at the time it was like, it's out, it's bad. Like everyone says it's bad, and I'm like, I guess I'm
Do
just
you guys mind if I spoil the end?
I know how it ends.
Okay.
I do know how it ends.
If Bo doesn't want to know, then I will drop the subject. And so help me God, I will not bring it up again.
Please go for it.
All right. Well, at the end of the movie, starring Mark Wahlberg, he, as an astronaut, he comes back he leaves the Planet of the Apes. And he arrives back to his own time, because he knows it's time travel, or he knows it's a different planet or something. But he knows he's back in the right place. But then he looks at the statue of what should be Abraham Lincoln, but he's got the face of a monkey. The monkeys have gotten control of everything. So maybe it was like an alternate 1985 as well from Back to the Future Part 2. And, it's just like, clearly it's the bad future, right? It's the bad, or maybe the good future. Maybe the Robotnik in control future is good. maybe it's a good time. I mean, at first it looks like it's destroyed buildings, but then you look closer in the background and it's actually like very advanced, like Blade Runner style skyscrapers.
Yeah.
So maybe they're doing great.
Right. The economy has never been stronger in Robotnik's future.
For some people are profiteering off of Robotnik's. You know, some people are getting the Robotnik contracts. Like in the Knuckles series, we see the buyer is going to be doing well in a Robotnik-led economy.
All right. I mean, he's dead though, isn't he?
You know, he may have children. It's hard to say.
Yes, but right. So that's the big one. I mean, there are other pieces where it's like, oh, there's the Chow Garden, but it looks a little different. Hey, there's Robotnik. He's watching Will Ferrell telenovelas. There's the Sand one, where they're escaping from something getting destroyed.
Knuckles has scorpions on his head, which is cute.
Right. He's enjoying himself. We get a clear shot of Amy Rose, which she's destroyed a robot that's not Metal Sonic. She looks pretty much like Amy. Her boots are different. The dress is a little. It's not exactly like the game dress, but it is mostly the game dress. Yeah.
Well, the only difference I think is that there's the belt, right? And the belt comes from Sonic Boom. Right?
Right. So yeah, there's a little bit of a belt. It is longer. It's not that wide.
Right.
Sort of 20s.
Which is also like Boom, I think.
Right. It's a little Boom. It's a little bit like the Boom dress, but it is styled after the game dress. Whether or not Amy will look like that, who knows? Because this is concept art.
I liked the cloak also. I hope the cloak sticks around because who's using a cloak in the Sonic cast? Nobody. Cloak is up for grabs. It might as well be Amy.
That's right. There were Sonic wore a cloak in Sat AM once. I believe the episode was
You know
Sonic
what Sonic
Racer.
also wore in Sat AM every episode?
What?
A backpack.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
And you know who never takes the backpack off in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie?
Tails.
That's right. Tails is backpacked the whole time. Never without the backpack.
He's going to start backpacking. I'm still surprised. Like, they need to turn that backpack into a toy. Like, with all little gadgets. Like, I don't know why that isn't for sale. Like, Bo, as somebody who has children, if one of your child's was like, I demand this Tails backpack. Well, do you think they would demand the Tails backpack?
They might demand it, and I don't know if we can come home with a good report card. Yeah, you're getting the Tails backpack, sure.
There you go. This is what we're saying. We're saying it to all the licensees out there. Give me a Tails backpack. I want it.
And the
give
gadgets
us the Tails backpack. Give us an A on the report card, and
the gadgets that Tails has include guns, anti-gravity hubs, and hologram projectors. Lifelike hologram projectors.
Yes.
So that should be included.
Tails has been big on holograms for a couple movies now.
Right.
Yeah, Tails had the holograms to help defeat the Death Egg robot at the end of Sonic Movie 2. A detail, if you didn't remember, you might think was very strange in Sonic Movie 3 that Tails has the ability to conjure holograms. But it was established in Sonic Movie 2 that Tails is a genius and he's a child and he's not, doing more to better the world with his scientific genius. He's just using it to create weapons and handcuffs, titanium handcuffs.
He's like the Spider-Man meme. I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. But for him, it's holograms.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Why not? Holograms are cool. Right, what else is going on in this concept art? There's one where Knuckles is on a moped and being chased by a very large ball.
Oh yeah, the Katamari one.
Yeah, it looks very Katamari. It is absorbing. It is sucking things up. There's somebody running. Are these people, will they die? They might die, I think. It looks like it's in London.
Well, one of the other pieces of concept art shows the Earth being struck by the Eclipse cannon. So I wonder if maybe that tears up the planet and creates a big rolling ball of street.
I guess, although that cannon, the beam looks pretty large. But then it just makes one
That's
tiny
true.
ball. So
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
yes. Now, I mean,
Maybe I'm wrong.
Is there any game precedent for the running away from the ball? I guess there's Lost World in Sonic Adventure where you do an Indiana Jones thing.
Yes, there is that. In all those early 3D games, there's always a sequence where Sonic is running from something straight at the camera. There was the gun chase then in SA2.
The snowboarding in SA1.
Right, that's also there. The running from multiple boulders in Ocean Palace, is it? Or right from in Heroes?
Yeah.
In Burning Rangers, you've got to run toward the rolling boulders in one scene.
Oh.
And dodge them.
Run towards them. It's so they were like, we'll do one where we run forward, but no, that's not fun. We got to do one where we're running away so that the player can't see at all what they're running into. I always forget what the rings are. How rude. Yeah, right. The Earth gets struck, and I know that there was some leaked
storyboards.
Yeah, the words escaping me. There were some leaked storyboards where it looked like there was some sort of time travel element at the end, which wasn't in the final version. So perhaps this piece of concept art was connected to that. If the beam did go off, then they had to somehow go back in time and stop it. But if Sonic 4 is using Amy, if any of this gets reused, we might be dealing with some sort of time travel plot. So that's why some of this might be spoilers for the next film. I guess it's not uncommon for in Hollywood, if there's an idea that doesn't get used in one entry, to be reused in another.
What I would do.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it. Isn't that what happened with Rise of Skywalker? They just reused a bunch of ideas that they made for The Force Awakens because they ran out of time and Carrie Fisher died and Star Wars.
Man, the Star Wars sequels, what a misguided effort.
All right, there's a lot of I could go off on a huge tangent about the good and the bad and the Yoda in that, but hey, Mandalorian Grogu's coming next year, I guess. Who's excited?
What?
Yeah,
a metal Grogu?
No, the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, I thought Grogu was going to have a Metal Sonic equivalent.
Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
I'd like to see that. Oh, and right, hot news. Ryan Gosling, Star Wars, maybe? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, Sonic 3 was released digitally.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently there's some deleted scenes, which I have not watched yet, but I figured we should throw it out there.
I will probably get the digital release so I can see the first act again. Because
you love that first act.
I like that first act a lot.
Yeah, it's very fast-paced.
Mm-hmm.
Fast-paced. References are flying. Fast and furious.
Just like Sonic.
I'm going to have my special coffee mug, drinking from that, watching this movie, and just feeling great.
Yeah.
I like the introduction of Team Sonic where it's two Tails, Knuckles on the ground, in the dirt. They're gearing up for a race, and then it's the floaty, the ducky, and Sonic thinks they're going tubing. That's silly, Sonic.
Right.
Sonic, no, it's a race, Sonic. I like that.
He can't swim. That's why he's got it. Yeah. Well, I think that's about all the news. Oh,
did we say the 2 million? Did we say that? I can't remember. We did.
We said that at top, right? The 2 million. At the top. Sonic 3 forever, and I guess that's it, really.
Oh, but did we do the Sonic 3 movie news?
I think we forgot to do the Sonic 3 movie news.
Okay, but as long as we got Sonic X Shadow Generations and Sonic 3 movies, what else is there? Oh, what is Sonic Cross Worlds? No, we have no Sonic Cross Worlds news.
Oh, right. I think Colleen confirmed she recorded dialogue for the game.
Wow.
Which confirms
she
Tails
raised her rates after the movie?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
So Tails will be in the Sonic racing game.
Whoa.
Is that a spoiler? I would hope not. It would be strange if that's the first time they're like, okay, we need to come up with a cast. What if we just don't have Tails in the racing game?
I guess he wasn't in Sonic and Knuckles, right?
What?
Tails
wasn't in standalone Sonic and Knuckles.
Right, but that's because you got to lock it on.
Yeah.
They were forcing you to buy it. You needed both.
Yeah. It wasn't called Sonic Tails and Knuckles. It was just called Sonic and Knuckles. And true to form, only Sonic and Knuckles are there.
Right. Although you do see Tails at the end. He's flying the tornado.
Okay, you're right. He
sneaks in.
Yeah.
Under the wire. It's like you can't escape me.
Before we do Mailbag, let's take a look at a bit of Sega and the Rings of Saturn. What's new with Saturn this week?
Rings of Saturn. I'm going cross-platform, cross-worlds. I like to dip into the 3DO world every once in a while, even though no one has fond memories about the 3DO. It was very poor selling system, commercially and critically not acclaimed. But, I have a little bit of affection for it, even though I've never seen a 3DO. I've never held a controller of a 3DO.
You gotta go buy one.
I think that would have to be the vantage point you would have to appreciate the 3DO, because if you think about it, the early adopters would be mad, the late adopters would be mad, the people who made it would be mad, the investors would be mad. Nobody would be happy with it. You would have to be some distance from the wreckage to appreciate it, and you're in that perfect position.
I'm in that perfect position. There's a 3DO game called Battle Sport, in which it's like Battle Bots, but instead of just fighting robots, you're also trying to get a ball into a goal. So you've got two robots, you're shooting lasers, you're shooting stuff at each other, and you're trying to get control of this ball so you can shoot it into the goal. So that's Battle Sport. So 3DO game, also ported to the Saturn, also ported to the PlayStation, has this Byzantine cheat code system. I had to call in math help once again to crack the PlayStation 1. I got the Saturn one, I got the 3DO one on my own, but needed some advanced debugging on the PlayStation 1.
Wow.
But man, I got a bunch of cheat codes for this. You can unlock all of the robots and all of the bad guys, and nobody knew about this stuff because nobody played Battle Sport even on the PlayStation or on the Saturn, let alone the 3DO. But something about it is compelling to me. Maybe the thing that's most interesting is it's got a cameo of another 3DO game character, Captain Quasar. And I don't know if they thought like, oh, this is really going to drive sales of this system. Like everybody who played Quasar is going to want to play him in this Battle Sport game. I'll have something about Captain Quasar on the 3DO eventually too.
Well, thank you for the Rings of Saturn, aka 3DO a go-go segment. Also, we have a little bit of Dreamcast Sega Swirlios. We got to come up with, David, we got to come up with much better names for these segments.
Right.
But the Swirlio this week is Swirlio is thanks to Barry from our buddy Barry at Sega Bits for sending me the Dream Explorer VMU tool, and now all of the saves in the Dreamcast history are available, and boy, what a treat that is to have the option to be able to not need to complete all of Crazy Box, which is beyond my skill level, but still get to enjoy the unlockable cart that you get to have as the unlockable bonus, or Green Hill in Sonic Adventure 2, which I know Bo has unlocked legitimately, and maybe David has unlocked legitimately.
Yes, I did.
Not me, and I probably won't. But I wanted to run around in there like I did in 2000 when I had that save, and I'm able to, and that's so good.
Have we talked about on the show how when you unlock Green Hill, you start it, and it starts with a 2D perspective, and you move just a little bit, and then it pans around? Like, what a cool effect! And
yeah,
really the best part of it, because the rest of that level is not very good. But
yeah, and it also looks real bad.
Half a second I liked.
I forgot how bad it looks, but it's a cool idea, and I really wish that it would be fun if that was a bonus in every Sonic game, that Sonic Heroes and so forth, that going forward, the unlockable for getting everything is that game's engine shows you what Green Hill Zone would be like. Except for Sonic Generations, which puts it at the front.
And Sonic Forces.
And Sonic Frontiers.
And
so you know what?
Sonic Superstars has it in the two-player mode. They really have Green Hill everywhere.
Yeah, you know what? Never mind. They're doing fine with Green Hill.
It was it was a novelty at the time. That's what we're saying.
I think the week after next, I am going to do a Dreamcast thing for the Power Stones.
Whoa.
So
nice.
watch out for that. Review the Power Stones.
Well, timed for the collection to come out for the modern systems.
Right.
The new Capcom collection, Capcom Arcade Fighters Volume 2.
Oh, so it sounds like we'll be drinking a hot piping cup of Swirlios next week.
All right, we'll throw to Barry now. Boop, boop.
Hey Sonic Weekly listeners, Barry from SegaBits here to tell you about a podcast that you might enjoy. On the latest Sega Talk podcast, George and I blast off into the depths of the cult classic mecha masterpiece, Bulk Slash. We delve into the fascinating development history of this unique Saturn title, explore the passionate community that brought us the incredible fan translation, and pay homage to the visionary creators behind this overlooked gem. Watch or listen at youtube.com/SegaBits or search SegaBits on your podcatcher of choice.
Could you place Sega Swirl over email? Is that a thing I'm remembering properly?
That does sound really familiar because it was included in the web browser.
Like on a bunch of discs they had.
Sega Swirl, yeah, it was on the Sega Smash Pack Volume 1. Was there Volume 2?
No.
I don't think so.
Waiting on Volume 2.
There are a couple other Smash Packs, but they aren't numbered, and they're for other things. Like there's a GBA
they're
one
on PC. Yeah.
Right. There's a couple PC and one on the GBA. The PC ones aren't even labeled Volume 1 and Volume 2, are they?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn there was more than one on the PC.
Dreamcast 1 has a bunch of Genesis games, and then Virtua Cop 2 from Saturn / PC / arcade.
I've never understood why it's just Virtua Cop 2.
The Virtua Cop 2 port is not so bad. The Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis port is it's got to be one of the worst ports of the game.
The entire sound emulation on that disc is bad for every game. It's just super noticeable in Sonic, but none of them sound right.
Yeah, it was noticeable in Sonic.
Is that the one where the devs put like a text file on the disc of like, hey, here's how you can hack this emulator to play other stuff?
Oh, really?
I think that's accurate.
Oh, yeah. I think it is a little buried, but you're right. Yeah, that is there. So you could put every single Genesis game on the on the Dreamcast. Whoa!
And it would sound bad, but maybe you'd be playing it on the Dreamcast.
Right. You could put Sonic 3 on there. It sounds bad, but it's the right music. We got to keep all this in.
We do. And let's open up the mailbag. Boo! All right. Okay, this one is from our executive producer, AltSynth.
Whoa!
Alt-synth is my father's name, he says. His question is, what's your opinion on Sonic sprites in Sonic 3 and Knuckles compared to his sprites in the other Genesis games? I've personally always preferred the Sonic 3 look and figured it was just a natural progression of his design. The classic look always read as overly stern to me, with the S3K sprites feeling much more expressive and closer to the way he's portrayed in Japanese artwork. You can definitely see how the old look influenced Western adaptations, though, with the mohawk design and emphasis on his attitude. I didn't even realize this was a controversial take until Mania rolled him back to an enhanced Sonic 2 design and kicked this discussion back up again. Which look do you all prefer? Do you have any initial reaction to the change one way or the other when you first played Sonic 3? And P.S. While I'm already stirring the pot, I'm Team Ristar as well for the game Rystar.
Should just call them Feel.
Let's address the Ristar of it at all first. I grew up Rystar, like in my household.
Yeah.
Okay, you're done playing Sonic. Let's play some Rystar. But I've become a Ristar person in my old age, and
yeah,
somehow it sounds more accurate. I don't know.
It makes sense if there was a W, I would really believe it.
Right.
Well, because it's not his arms that are long; it's just his wrists that are really long when he stretches.
That's okay. That makes complete sense then. Ristar Mania. The wristwatch of Ristar. There's so many marketing opportunities with if you pronounce it Ristar.
Which sprite do you like, David?
Oh, are we moving on to sprites? Sure. Okay. I thought we're just going to talk about Rystar for a while. Which, you know what? I don't think I've ever beaten Rystar or Ristar.
Oh, you should. Great.
Yeah, I've played it. I like it. I just haven't finished it for whatever reason. I never get to that point.
It's deceptively difficult. It's a little, all games are hard.
Right.
Every single game is hard.
Right. It was a game I didn't have as a kid. So it was sort of like, oh, there's this other platformer thing. I didn't even realize any of the Sonic connections, as tenuous as they may be.
That is one thing I am passionate about is Ristar is not a Sonic game. It's not a Sonic Team game.
No.
I know they put it on one of the collections, but no.
But it's Sonic
There's
adjacent,
DNA.
right?
It's
Right.
adjacent. Sonic and Ristar appear together in Sega Gaga. That's true.
Right. I mean, Streets of Rage 1 through 3 are on one of those collections in Japan.
Yeah.
But he's also in Transformed. He's the one waving the flag.
He is a little guy there. Yeah.
Yeah. He's part of the Sega family, clearly. And I know he's designed by, Uekawa. There's one or two people who have that are shared in production, but I forget who they are. I think, Bo, didn't you once upon a time make a spreadsheet keeping track of all these people?
For this entire, this question motivated me to add thousands of rows to a spreadsheet so I could make a chart that said, okay, here's the average level of shared staff for each of the other Sonic games, and here's the shared staff for Ristar, and see how there's less density in the plot on Ristar. Yes.
Yeah.
Is such a spreadsheet available to share, or
let me see if I can dig that up.
Okay.
So we all know who are real Sonic team members and who are the posers. But yes, the sprite. Okay, I'll say right off the bat, as a kid, I did not care one way or the other that Sonic the Hedgehog looked slightly different in Sonic 3. It still looked like Sonic to me. It did not register in any degree that it was different or that it mattered. As an adult, there was definitely a period where I think I preferred 1 and 2 more than 3, and I was like, oh, I don't think, maybe I just don't like the way 3 looks. There was a point when it was like the death sprite, I think, is what really hit me at one point. Because in Sonic 3, when you die, he looks like a stuffed toy, like a plush toy, and I'm like, Sonic's not a stuffed toy. Sonic's a hedgehog. He's alive. And so to suddenly become a thing that you just want to grab and squeeze, because he's also in that pose. I was like, oh no, I don't like it. I'm sorry. I've scaled back definitely from the sort of because I don't dislike any of it. I think he looks good in 1 and 2 and in 3. He just looks different in 3. I probably still slightly prefer the 1/2 look, just because that's where I started with Sonic.
How about Sonic Spinball?
Well, he definitely has a mohawk there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Spinball. I wouldn't want Spinball Sonic to be the Sonic, but I wouldn't have minded in a game or two where he just kept looking like that. That could have made Spinball too. We can start a petition right now.
Okay.
Sonic Pinball Party should have been Spinball 2. They should have just continued the saga of Mount Mobius. From the wreckage of Mount Mobius, has built a new mountain.
We haven't talked in a while about how they clearly meant to have Sonic Spinball on Origins. They've got the island.
Mm-hmm.
In the island camera, you see Sonic doing the little paddle like he's doing in the toxic pools. And anyway.
What happened?
They were like, this game is not good. That's probably what happened.
Right.
I
guess I think they were afraid to put ROMs on there until they went, fuck it.
Here's some Game
Plus,
Gears.
Here's some Game Gear ROMs, but it's okay. But yeah, I mean, Spinball should have been there. 3D Blast should have been there.
Wait, because Spinball is there, the Game Gear version.
Yeah, but who likes that version?
I don't know.
That was my first exposure to Spinball. I like the cover of that version. That's a sort of like they told Greg Martin, hey, tone it down a little bit, and he did.
Yeah,
right. But then he also drew AOSTH Robotnik. So
yeah, the Robotnik's bad on all versions of that cover.
You gotta
AltSynth, to go back to the sprite question, I feel the same as David, but just angrier. I feel that the Sonic 3 is a bit of a step down from Sonic 2, which is the best looking version. Sonic 1 is very close, but that shade of blue is just a little purple for me. And then Sonic 2 is just cobalt enough to be blue the way I like it. And Sonic CD, I can barely tell, so he counts as Sonic 2, even though I think it's a little closer to Sonic 1. Sonic 3, you can feel the pressure of 3D bearing down on the Sega Genesis, which is showing its age. in terms of competing with Donkey Kong Country, in terms of competing with the Super Nintendo's 3D capabilities, because the Genesis is sort of a bridge system, or the Mega Drive is sort of a bridge system between the NES and the Super Nintendo. It comes out between the two. And Sega Saturn would later come out, well after the Super Nintendo, but before the Nintendo 64, I think, right?
Yeah.
They're always kind of like in that in between. The Dreamcast is before the GameCube. But it's, so it's the hot new thing, and then it's kind of the old thing. So Sonic 3, I just feel like it's a little bit of a departure, and he's a little cute, and you can see his smirk, and I like the more stoic Sonic 2. That's my take.
I do not like the Sonic 3 as it looks on the Genesis, because I know it's just that he's like turned slightly so you can see a little bit more of him, but to me he looks like he's had like too many chili dogs, and it doesn't work for me. Although I do think you could see the line from that sprite to Adventure, the original Adventure model, with the wild eyes and the crazy mouth. Like, there's a direct connection between those two that I when I think of it in terms of Adventure, I like it more. But playing it compared to the other 2D sprites, the Sonic 3 model doesn't do it for me. But what's the best? Like Mania with darker blue would be the best, but I don't think they've hit it correctly for me.
I would agree. Yeah, I think the best has yet to come as Tina Turner. Is that right? Or was it somebody else? The best is yet to come. I think it's Tina Turner. Is it? David, tell me. You would know.
I mean, Tina Turner sounds...
She probably said that.
It sounds right. It sounds right.
Life. The best
is yet to... I mean, a lot of people have said that phrase, I'm sure.
Song. What? Frank Sinatra? Michael Bublé?
We're definitely not quoting Michael Bublé, but we can if we want.
The best is yet to come.
Just type Tina
Turner. Yeah. The best is yet to come is a... well, what is it? Is it a song, or is it 2023? What?
Was it the name of a posthumous album?
It could be. Remember when Google was usable? My God, what the hell is this?
Go to DuckDuckGo if Google's being...
DuckDuckGo?
Yeah.
I'll use Google to get there.
I know.
You can also go to duck.com, and you know how duck.com used to be the website of the Duck Corporation, who did the movie codec, which you can see some like early PC and Saturn games have Duck encoded movies.
They had duck.com?
They had duck.com. Google bought the company that bought the Duck company, and then they said, hey, do you want this duck.com domain to duck.go? And they said, yeah, sure.
Wow.
You know how every Saturn and a lot of Dreamcast games open with that True Duck thing?
That's it. That's duck.com.
Yeah.
Well, I think there should also be a show like True Detective, but it stars ducks, and you call it True Duck. So Tina Turner, Simply the Best. The best is yet to come. Simply the Best is the song.
That's the one I was thinking of.
The best is something else, and then the best is yet to come is like a recent documentary.
Oh, okay.
Point is at the time, I thought the Sonic 3 sprite looked amazing. At the time, I was so happy with it. Thought it was great.
Right.
But at the time, I was also thinking about, how does this relate to the Archie comics? Where's Rotor?
Rotor.
He's in Spinball.
Wait, is he?
Wait, no, is he not?
No,
Antoine
he's not. Right, Antoine, Bunny, Sally, no Rotor.
No Rotor.
Right? No, or is there Rotor?
I think it's Rotor, but no Antoine.
Right, you're right. It is. It's Rotor and no Antoine. Yeah.
Okay, I was right the first time?
You were right the first time. You second-guessed yourself, which made me second-guess myself. Tails is also
Sonic,
there.
Spinball, Rotor.
Trust your instincts.
Right. Or you can trust your might.
Yeah, there he is. No, he looks fine.
Yeah, Rotor. Right. We also got to remember that Sonic 3 was originally intended to be a 3D game, which I think also led to why they wanted that sprite to have the depth. I mean, Sonic was always trying to replicate some 3D look to it. The original Sonic the Hedgehog, the reason the palm trees are angular and that they have those sharp corners is because they're trying to replicate 80s 3D technology. Like so Sonic was always in some form or fashion reaching toward that 3D ball. And Sonic 3 was meant to be 3D using the what's it called? The because Super Nintendo had the VFX, right?
Yeah.
No, or was yeah.
Or FX,
No, they had the Super FX.
Super FX.
The VFX was Genesis, right? Which was only used in Virtual Racing, but they were going to use it for Sonic 3. It just wasn't going to happen in time. I don't know how a 3D Sonic would have looked on the Genesis, but that's really outside of this question. But I mean, like, you can see why they wanted Sonic to look that way in 3.
Speaking of outside of the question in Genesis, but about Genesis aesthetics and preferences, what's the best looking version of the Genesis box art? Same question for Dreamcast, because the Dreamcast also had a reboot where you have the white, what is it called? A case, jewel case, right?
Right.
Oh, sure.
With the Sega Dreamcast, and then you have the black jewel case where it's just Dreamcast. And then with the Sega Genesis, you have the original black grid Sega Genesis. You have some that are like exceptions to that, like Street Fighter 2, also Streets of Rage 2, and also Sonic the Hedgehog 2, all of which deviate from that. And then, of course, you've got the red stripe with the gray text, and then you've got the red stripe with the white text. Then, of course, you've got the cardboard box version of red stripe, white text.
Right.
And then you've got the turtle shell box for all the rest.
Okay.
I want the red stripe on my Genesis and the black for my Dreamcast.
Ooh.
Wow. So both you want the revision.
Yeah. Got it right the second time.
Yeah. You know what? I think Bo's right. I like that red because the black grid is just because the Master System box is over here. It's white. It's a white grid, right? And all the boxes look the same. It's all boring. Like they wanted it to match, but there's nothing interesting. And then they started to do that with the Genesis, but at least like the box art and the front, like the cover was a piece of art instead of just clip art they dropped on a grid. But the red, because especially once it was like red for Genesis, blue for CD, the purple for Game Gear, and then orange for 32X, it all matched, but there were differences, and it just looked sleek and cool. Like the physical Genesis, I prefer the Model 1 to the Model 2, but the box, I prefer that, I guess the Model 2 look, the red stripes. And of course, we got to go clamshell. Cardboard boxes are worthless because they crumble in your hand. Like they will get destroyed. It doesn't matter how nice you are to them. They will get destroyed. Give me the plastic. Give me the clamshell. They should have made a special clamshell for Sonic and Knuckles, is what I'm saying.
I don't think I called it a clamshell earlier. I think I called it a turtle shell.
Did you call it a turtle shell?
A clamshell makes more sense, right?
Clamshell makes so much more sense.
Right. Because there's pearls inside those clamshells.
Yeah. I was thinking, I was like, turtle shell? Why? That doesn't make any sense. They didn't make it out of a turtle shell, and there's no turtle coming out of this.
No, that's what turtle wax is for.
Unless you're playing the Hyperstone Heist.
Yeah. Ooh. Which is like, I guess, a very expensive game now. Hey, but it's on the Turtle Cowabunga collection.
You know, we were talking about Sega Gaga a couple of weeks ago, 2025 Sega Simulator. In the final battle of that, you do like a shooter game. It's like Thunder Force against a succession of Sega consoles. And it starts with the SG-1000, and then you get the Mark III, and then you get the Genesis. But it's not just the Genesis. It's Genesis, then it locks onto the CD, and then it locks onto the 32X. So it's the entire Tower of Power, and the whole animation of it is fantastic.
I love that.
But the Model 1 Genesis looks 80s to me, and the Model 2 looks 90s.
Yeah, I'm with Bo on this. I prefer the Model 2 Genesis, even though I guess I'm just totally opposite of David on this, where I prefer the black grid Model 1 boxes, because to me, all of the Sega consoles have the black aesthetic, but I like that Model 2 Genesis. It does look a little sleeker. It looks a little better with the Sega CD, looks a little better with the 32X. if it's going to look like anything. And just kind of like, it just seems like it fits more with the Saturn and the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Whereas the original Mark 1 Genesis, Model 1 Genesis, looks like it fits best with the Master System and the SG-1000.
Yeah, I guess that's why the 32X, it was definitely designed to be plugged into the Model 2, while the power-based converter was definitely never meant to be plugged into a Model 2. I don't think you even can. It's not like you physically
won't fit.
Won't let you plug it all the way in. Yeah. So that's why I guess ideally you have a Model 1 with the power-based converter plugged in on top of a Model 1 CD next to the Model 2 Genesis with 32X and the Model 2 CD. And then you somehow link those together and create cold fusion, right?
My Dreamcast buddy in high school, we were both day one Dreamcast purchasers, but he was also a day one purchaser of the black Sega Sports Dreamcast because he's like, finally they got a good looking one.
Wow. So wait, he double dipped on the Dreamcast? He
double dipped because
wow.
He's like, if they release a black one, I'll buy it again. And they did, and he did.
So he double dipped because he wanted to, not because he had to, like me, because my first Dreamcast stopped working. Yeah. And I was like, well, how about that? That day one Dreamcast did not last. My day two
I've gone through a lot of Dreamcasts because of the
I still have my $99.99
delicate...
Dreamcast.
Ooh.
But my Sonic Adventure was bad on day one.
Oh, right.
Bad disc.
What do you guys... I have a question for you guys. What do you think about wrapping this episode slightly early? There's no law that says we have to go to a full hour.
No,
I think we can close it out.
Right.
We can close it out. It's been a tiring week. We've answered the mailbag. We've covered the news. We've fulfilled our obligation to the listener. And some of our episodes recently have been quite long. So I think it's only fair that we occasionally cut one back.
The listeners don't know we did record it.
And the listeners don't know we did an extra half hour of this. So
right, which that extra half hour, right? Maybe one day we'll put it out there.
Yes, if you want to hear nothing.
Can you hear me?
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, nope. Frozen again.
Such great content, all including hello? What?
Hey, that's what we do here. Great content every week at Sonic Weekly. That's right. You've listened to another fantastical, majestical episode.
Majestic, I think is the word.
Majestic, yeah.
Mage-ass. No, you're talking about the mage's ass.
That's right. Hey, and if you love the ass of mages and haven't yet, you should subscribe to this podcast. That's right. Using your podcatcher of choice, be it Apple Podcasts, be it Spotify, or of course for the Android faithful. Wait. Podcast Addict.
Podcast Addict, yeah.
Right. The name, it just escaped me for a second. I was like, it's got podcast. That's right. The Android faithful Podcast Addict injected into your veins today. Or download it. It's probably easier. Yeah, and of course, on those platforms, you can review, give us 5 stars, thumbs up, smiley faces, whatever those things are. But if you reject all podcatchers, we are also over on YouTube. We are just at Sonic-Weekly. You can like, comment, and subscribe. And our audio is joined, as always, with video gameplay footage connected in some way, strong or very tangentially, to footage recorded by friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. Give it a check. Give it a listen. But if you want to reach out to the show, what do we got? We have an email address. That's where the mailbag comes from. It's SonicWeeklyPodcast at gmail.com. Drop us a line. We love to hear from you. Even if we don't read every email aloud, we do read them all. Don't be afraid to send those emails. And you got to send one if you want to link to our Discord server, right? Where you can talk to some like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about many things, up to and including Sonic the Hedgehog. Who would have guessed? Not me. I never in a million years would have figured that one out. If you want to support the show in a financial way, though, if you can manage to spare a few dollars to help support hosting and production of this fine program, we are also over at Ko-fi. We are just Sonic Weekly over there, where you can throw in a one-time tip, or you can become one of our fan fantastic executive producers for $5 a month, just like PigDan, Pabsy, Sonikku, SavingThrows, Cal, Belgarion, or Belgarion, or AltSynth, because Alt-Synth is their father, and they haven't given us money. So AltSynth, you should tell your dad to give us some money, is what I think I'm arguing for.
The money goes to a good cause. It goes to hosting. It goes to production. It goes to Smoovies.
That's right. And you get some goodies too from wife of the Grant Ashland. You can stick some stickers onto things that allow sticking. Stick it today. You can stick it to the man. I mean, maybe you should ask before you stick the sticker. Ask nicely first.
Get consent on that. Yeah.
Right. Gotta thank, as you mentioned, Smoovies. Gotta thank Smoovies for the edit.
Thank you, Smoovies.
Thank the listeners. I always say, hey, you listen to something, but thank you for listening to this fine program.
Thank you, listener.
Thank you to our guest, who's not here, but hey.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you, Bo and Grant, the dynamic duo patrolling the streets of Gotham City.
We're a trio, baby. We're Team Sonic Weekly. Thank you, David. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, everybody. Bye.